But I have some thoughts on The
Yeah.
Last of Us season 2 finale. Yeah, we Ellie's bloody little revenge journey has come full circle, and we are going to be talking about what our thoughts were on the finale, what we thought our thoughts were on changes that were made, some very uncomfortable scenes that were had in this episode, and kind of where we might think that season three will be. I mean, it's kind of obvious what they're going to be doing with season three, but
Right.
yeah. So just one word impression. What did you, one word, and then we're going to go into kind of the
Of the
recap.
episode,
Yes.
underwhelming, I think.
Okay. Okay. I will say disappointing.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair. And I think we'll talk about this later about even kind of the stats on the show, just the bread and butter as far as numbers, how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been looking at them.
Yeah. So yeah, I think by that you can kind of tell whether or not we thought it stuck the landing or not, as we like to say for our finales. Yeah, so full breakdown or full recap. We have Ellie, and well, we have her kind of going back to, I guess they're in a theater. They in a
Yeah,
theater?
that's their new hideout spot.
Yeah.
I guess they've decided that the wolf has checked
WLF.
it, cleared it,
Yeah.
and left it alone.
So they're in there. She finally tells Dina why the Abby and her group were targeting Joel. Dina seems a little less happy about being on this journey now that she kind of knows the full story. Um, so Tommy, they go out, I guess, they go out to search for Tommy, hearing that there is a sniper somewhere. Leave Dina alone. Jesse kind of wiggles it out of Ellie about her pregnancy. He takes on this journey means a whole bunch more to me now than what you could possibly understand. They kind of fall, they see a WL or they see a Sarah fight getting attacked by WLF members. Ellie wants to confront. Jesse says no. They continue on. And when they figure out that, I'm sure I'm leaving out a lot, but when they finally find out, well, what Ellie just discovers what Nora's last words finally meant, she's like, full steam ahead. I'm on my way to go find Abby. Jesse is like, no, we need to go rescue Tommy. And they get into a conversation about what community means to each of them. And Jesse heads out to find Tommy. Ellie continues on her journey to find Abby, gets in a boat, crashes from some waves on a Seraphite island. They almost kill her. They then start getting bombed by Isaac and his WLF group, which you really don't see. You see some explosions in the end. You see a little conversation between him and, I believe her name's Parker or Lee, or I can't remember, between Isaac and his soldier members. Their destruction, but you really don't see it. She escapes. Still, you would think, hey, all these brushes with death, maybe this isn't the best idea. No, she full steam ahead to the aquarium where she runs into Owen and Mel. She tries to play a game of you show me and I'm going to take it easy on you, but is not equipped for this kind of what we would call like Joel like interrogation method, and gets freaked out, which is different than the game. We'll talk about this. Shoots Owen, nicks Mel. There's a very uncomfortable, you need to cut the baby out scene, which we will discuss later. And then Tommy, and she sits there for God knows how long after being traumatized at this. Tommy and Jesse rescue her, take her back to the theater. They hear her and Jesse have a conversation, a little heart to heart. He tries to see the best in her and what she's doing. Commotion goes on. He runs out the door. Bam, Jesse is dead. And Abby is holding Tommy at gunpoint, at which time they have a confrontation. And Abby kind of says, I let you live, and this is what you've done with your time. And gunshot fade black. When it then opens with day one in Seattle, and it's going to be season three is going to be Abby's perspective, which again we will get into. So, what we did not have a lot of, or actually anything in the last two episodes, were any infected. But we will discuss that anyway. So, all that being said and done, how do you feel about Ellie's kind of, I don't even want to know if it's an arc, as just her storyline through the season.
Um,
Not that I threw a whole bunch at you at one time, but
no, Ellie's arc through the entire season has been exactly what I have said last week and the week before, which was she is a impulsive, selfish, headstrong person,
teenager.
teenager, yes, who has had no growth from that, which again, teenager, but in certain situations you have to grow up fast. Like, not everyone gets to live the same life. You
Sure.
analogy wise, like a kid grows up and they lose their parents and now they have to raise their siblings by themselves. You are forced to grow up fast.
Right.
If you were born into an apocalypse situation, you are forced to grow up fast. Um, it just seems like there was no growth from her, but again, I realize that is her character in the game.
Right.
Um, but just seeing it on screen just annoyed me. But I thought she played it well because that was the goal. Um, but yeah, it's like every time she gets really, really hyper fixated on getting revenge for Joel, something happens that should be like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do this. And again, I realized, like, as she told Jesse, if it was someone that you were super close to, don't act like you wouldn't do the same thing. And it's like, yeah, sure. But I feel like the caveat to that, or the little nugget that she's ignoring, is Abby and all of them, you are currently doing what Abby and them were doing. And Dina realized it like immediately when she found out, like,
Right.
oh, this guy killed my father and killed 18 people in a hospital. Let's get the band together and let's go hunt him down. And then we did. And we let Dina and Ellie live because, well, you guys really weren't involved. So we're like monsters, but not full monsters.
Right.
Now, Ellie, you get out of the hospital, and now you're going after the person that took someone that was close to you. Like, you're in a circle now,
Right.
and Dina, within seconds of realizing it, and maybe it was just anger, horror of what Joel did, because as people have
Right.
said, this like we love the guy, but come on now.
Right.
So yeah, I'm not saying she should have just walked away. She never should have gone after them, but it's like eventually you kind of look around and it's like maybe we shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, especially with your brush on death, with you getting involved between the WLF and the Seraphites.
Yeah,
Like this is bigger than just like you have now injected yourself into a war in which you had nothing to do with.
exactly.
So like, what are we doing here? So yeah, and I think Dina had the kind of look on her face, like kind of like what we were all kind of thinking in our brains, like, all right, like this is enough. Like this is I think we've probably hit our limit on this. Like
Yeah,
that's like, oh, now that I've got the full story and you've decided to share that with me. Whereas I came to you and I said you were the first person I told about the WLF as soon as we after you were in surgery, and you were the first person. I seem to be the last person that you seem to be filling in on, like, your immunity and the real motivation behind Abby's, like,
yeah.
little unfair here on what's
Yeah,
happening.
I mean, because Ellie has convinced everyone that it was, well, I guess Ellie didn't know either, but as far as everyone's concerned, they're all raiders that came
Sure.
and killed Joel.
Right.
That's why Seth, the old guy, was like, "Yeah, we need to go kill these people. We need to send a message."
Right.
If people had known they were doing what you guys are currently doing, you would realize, like, I know it sucks. Like, I realize that, but at some point when you get in the fight, You guys have exchanged blows. You pick yourself off the ground, you dust yourself off, and you look at each other, and it's like, okay, we're even now. I get that it sucks.
Right.
This man went on a one-man massacre and killed a lot of people, including the doctor who was Abby's father.
Right.
What she did over the next 5 years, I can't be mad at it. I mean, I can because like we love Joel, but like I get it.
Right.
And I realize, Ellie, you didn't know that, but like, as you find that out, and then you get to a city you've never been to, and you realize the infected are evolving, and you realize you're in the middle of a war with
Yeah.
two different groups,
Right.
and you are way out of your depth
Right.
to the
Way
point
over
that you
your head now.
needed to be,
Yeah.
yeah, way over your head to the point where you needed to be saved by someone who then says, "Hey, let's go save the other guy who came out here to save you," and you're like, no. I'm gonna
Not
go.
only are you no, but you're F the community.
Yes, exactly.
I
Like
mean,
we
yeah.
have put you, we not we've taken you in, but we took you in. I know you like pulled your weight in the community, but like we gave you a place to stay. We didn't question you on your past or whatever. We let you just be here, be a part of the community, even though you are rude and don't follow the rules at every chance you get. We let you do this, but now because you lost someone close to you, as if other people in that community didn't lose their loved ones to raiders or whoever, you're like F the community, F the guy that just came to save me, who had he and Jesse not come out here, both of us would be dead right now in that warehouse that we should have avoided. Like
Right.
all of that, and then you hopping on a boat in the middle of a storm when you almost didn't even make it there because once again being impulsive, you had your little pistol and you were aiming at those two guys on the dock. Lucky for you, Isaac lit up the lights on the boat because you would have been 30 versus 1 right there. You out here being impulsive and not planning,
Right.
like just scene after scene
Just
after
seeing.
scene. I'm like, you need to turn around.
Right. How many more signs do you need to be given?
Right.
This is not the journey you need to be on at the
Then you get
moment.
on the boat gets flipped. You should have died there, but you somehow survived, end up on an island, get captured by the Scars, who don't care what side quest
Right.
you're on. They string you up, almost kill you. You escape then. Like, so within the last like 10 minutes, you've been given three different signs of like, hey, turn around.
Right. And you're still like, nope, full
Yeah.
steam ahead. You know what? I'm going to so do this that I am now. And then when it comes down to it, you panic and like you talked about like they were going to kill, like they were going to kill a kid. Well, now you have,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
whatever your thoughts are. I mean, like, we're not going to, viability of the fetus on the out. We're not going to go into that. That is but the doctor, Mel, was trying to walk you through, however unequipped you were, through a cesarean section, and you froze and didn't do anything
Yep.
and let that happen, which was a very, very uncomfortable scene. Were you
That
squirming?
one, I've told people that I would put it close to, not quite, but the Red Wedding for me. I've told people this. I will watch people get beheaded. I watch them get exploded, body parts just flying. The one time I flinched in Game of Thrones is when they started stabbing what's her name and she was pregnant. Like, of all the blood, guts, and death I saw in Game of Thrones, that was the thing that got me when they
Or
were
the House of
stabbing the
Dragon, the very
house.
first episode?
Yeah, that one too. When it involves like kids still in the womb or just babies in general, that's when I squirm. So yeah, this scene, I'm over on the couch like, oof,
Oh,
I am not wanting to see this. And I went to go like fast forward jokingly, and Sarah was like, "We're not skipping this." And I was like, "Look, when you gave birth, like I was there in the room holding your hand, but I was not looking. So if I wasn't looking when you were giving birth to my child, I'm not watching this random actor." Turns out nothing happened because Ellie froze, but everything around that scene, I was just
it
uncomfortable.
would 100%. I was very uncomfortable. I was very squirming around. Like it's just
Yeah.
like, oh, like
Yes.
I on one hand you're like, please save the baby, and then on the other hand you're just like, this is making like, oh, this whole thing is just making me so. I mean, yeah. Yeah, let's just
And you do wonder, would that have made her, obviously other stuff happens
stop.
and you come face to face with Abby, but now that your girlfriend is pregnant, which you know about, having just been in a situation with another pregnant woman who ended up dying by your hand, unintentional as it was, it still happened with you pulling the trigger. Are you now looking at this and saying,
Right.
hey, at
Me.
minimum, send Dina back and you go off on your own, but honestly, you should just be done.
Right. Yes. So that leads to kind of my next question is, do you think at this point in the season, I don't know how much we're going to hit on Ellie in season 3 because it really does look like it's going to be from Abby's point of view. Season 2, those 3 days here in Seattle. Um, do you think Ellie is completely like she's lost herself completely? Like is she now just in her like quote unquote villain era? Like, and is there any kind of humanity left in her? She just completely turned towards what we all as the audience saw Abby as in the
Yeah.
beginning.
I think she does have some humanity left, but I think that humanity is, whether it's fair or not, is resting on Dina. I think the only
Okay.
humanity she has left is the person that she loves and the child. Like if something happens to Dina and the baby, I think that's it. Humanity is gone. I think Dina is the, oh, because she lost Joel. I think she likes Tommy, but her and Tommy were never close. She was cool with Jesse. Jesse is now dead by your hand, kind of. Um, I think the only part of her humanity that is keeping her from fully crossing over, I think, is Dina and the
So
baby.
ultimately, she is a lot like Joel because Joel was like, if I
Yes.
lose Ellie, I've lost myself. Like that, I
Yes.
can't do this again. I will have lost everything. So yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, it's like on one hand, it's like you realize the similarities between her and Joel, but it's like, is she even worse than him at this? You know, like how he wanted better for her, but now is she worse than him?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think so. I mean, it takes a lot for me to justify, him clearing a hospital, and I realize that I'm still iffy on the show saying like the cure would have worked, but maybe that was just
Right.
in Joel's mind or whoever
Right.
thinking, but I still struggle to justify that one. It's not anything against Ellie, and what if it was your kid? And like I do realize that, but at the same time, it's like okay, if you have a chance to like save humanity from the brink of destruction,
Right.
I'm not saying, yeah, kill the kid, but I could see where people would be coming from. We're like, yeah, I mean, a chance to save humanity. But if she hasn't passed Joel yet, she is pretty close. Um, yeah, I think if she hasn't passed him, she's pretty close to
Pretty close
not
to.
being better than him, not fulfilling his wish.
Mhm. How do you think, what is your thoughts on the scene as far as her crashing onto that island? Do you feel like it, she, sh- do you feel like it was a little ham-fisted as far as like her being captured and escaping the brink of death yet once again? Like,
Yeah,
do you feel
it
like there was, I see, like to me personally, I don't know how much point there was in that scene. Like we knew that
we
we
knew
already
they
knew,
existed. We already saw them string somebody up and cut them
sure,
open.
right,
We didn't gain anything from that scene. She could have gotten hit by the wave and crashed into a random island where they weren't, or something. That
right,
whole 3 to 5 minute scene provided nothing. It didn't move the story forward or make it a positive. It actually did make it a negative because yes, it seemed like it's just like that was too easy for her to escape. And like in that situation, like, oh well, they were about to kill her and then they got attacked. It's like, yeah, but they just said let her go. Like they fully intended to kill her, then they
right,
get attacked. At minimum, you could have taken the 2 seconds to cut her stomach open and run. You just completely leaving the person there, and I think she got her weapons back. So they left the stranger who said, "Oh, I'm not with WLF." Like, who knows if that's a lie or not? You could be with them, you could be a raider, you could be
Right.
whatever. They let you go and eventually essentially turn their backs to you because they ran the opposite direction. You could have very much caught your breath, taken the rope off, grabbed your gun, chased after them, and shot him in the back because they knew nothing about you. You guys did not have a conversation. They got you. You screamed, "Oh, I'm not with them. I'm not with them." There was no conversation that was had. So yeah, I'm sitting there like, how is she gonna get out of this one?
Right.
Isaac starts blowing stuff up, and they're like, "Oh, let her go. She's not important." Like,
Right. Like they're like the
what?
village and they
Yeah,
Tom Cruise run it out of there. Yeah,
yeah.
like I couldn't understand because like we had an idea that something was going to happen with Isaac and his WLF group because one, he was telling everybody to stay off their radios for hours or until the next day or whatever, and you'd seen the boats gather and you see them all take off. I think it would have been enough just to have the explosions going on in the background. I think you would have been able to be like, I can put two and two together.
Yeah.
There, he's saying we may not make it out of. I don't expect us to live to the morning. Everybody stay off their radios. Everybody's gathered on the boats, and then explosions happen. I think you would have been able to put together, and you would have been able to remember enough of that for season three. When you see it, because I mean, I'm assuming they're going to cover that, or else there really was no point in all of that. But I don't feel like her crashing onto the island and once again miraculously escaping death. I just don't know, other than to show like she's just dead, like instead of taking that as a sign and her turning around and going back, that she's still full steam ahead. I just didn't like that because I
It
thought
didn't
it
do
was just a
anything
little too.
positive, and it didn't even keep them neutral. Because, like, if anything, you could have had her land on the island, be crawling around, see the scars, and they haven't seen her yet, and maybe they're about to like go over to where she is,
And the
and then the
explosions happen.
explosions
Right.
go off. I could have given you that because at that point they didn't actually know if anyone was there. But the
Right.
fact that you captured her, put the rope around her neck, are walking towards her with the crescent sword, like you are
Right.
done, and then they immediately just drop you and forget about you. And whatever argument of, well, the town, the village, it does not matter. There is not a stranger with weapons that I'm about to kill. I'm like, you know what? Never mind. I'm gonna turn my back to you now and trust that
Right.
you won't shoot me in the back as I run
Wouldn't
away.
right, wouldn't it have made more sense that once the horn was alerted that they would turn to her and be like, "What are you doing? Who sent you? What are you
Yeah,
here for? Like what's going on? Like who else is with you?" And think that she's part of a bigger thing that's going on. Instead they're just like, "Drop the rope, let her get out of here." And you're
yeah,
like, "Okay." So that's again, I just like
agreed.
what
Didn't like
was
that scene.
I just didn't like that scene. And then I know that they did switch the scene between Owen and Mel and Ellie from a purposeful shooting and stabbing to an accidental. I don't know so much accidental with Owen because he did go for a gun and she shot, but her aim wasn't great and she nicks um Mel in the artery in the neck. How do you feel it? Do you feel like that should have been, and in the game, they do not have that. You need to do a cesarean section on me. So, how do you feel about that choice being made?
They wanted to kill the characters that they needed to kill, but we are having the discussion about Ellie's humanity, I guess, and how much is left. If they had, and I think they want her to still have some humanity left.
Sure.
So they made the characters that needed to die die, but they made it the other one, the woman, accidental. Because obviously, like you said, Owen, he went for the gun. Like it is what it is. You played a dangerous game. You lost a dangerous game. Ellie, 10 out of 10 times would do the same thing over again. But they wanted the other woman to die to show more trauma for Ellie, but also to have some humanity left in her of like, I didn't intentionally kill her. That guy attacked me, the bullet ricocheted, or I shot him in the throat and it was thin, so it went through and got her in the neck. Like, I think that was the choice they made. I'm undecided on how I feel.
Okay.
I,
Fair
I
enough.
think that,
Yeah.
yeah, I think they're wanting to keep some of Ellie's humanity alive, so
Right.
that's why they did it. But I'm curious what the payoff will be. Because if
Right.
she continues this descent into madness and becomes, an unfeeling killing machine, then why
Right.
not just have it start sooner? Why
Right.
why wait? But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, like will we see her deal with I know and that's spoiler alert for those who haven't played the game. I only know about the game through what I've read on Wikipedia. I mean, like, I'm gonna be honest. I've read, like part two. They do deal like Ellie deals with a lot of PTSD after all. I mean, because she's tortured people, she's shot people, she's killed, she's let an unborn baby die. All these things happen, and she does deal with some PTSD, which does kind of again, they may not do this in the next, they might change this, but it does have an effect on her and Dina's relationship as far as when they're raising her and Jesse's baby. You kind of wonder how much. So let's just go ahead and get into that because we've kind of touched on Ellie about as much as we can, but Abby, her waking up day one. So we kind of know that season three, they've talked about it needs to be a longer season then because you're going to have to be dealing with Abby from a certain perspective, but then have now they talked about a season four?
I believe one article I read, I might have sent it to, I might not have. I think one of the creators said that they don't see how they can wrap it up without a fourth season.
And honest to God, they can't. I don't see how they could either because to me,
Yeah.
you have to have it. You don't have to, but staying true to the game, you can have Abby's backstory. You have to have them finally confronting each other again. There's a lot of stuff that happens with, yeah, like as far as the Seraphites and the WLF, and uh, bringing it back around, we didn't see any of the infected in these last two episodes at all. So now, like, I
The
don't
most
like,
we saw was the basement spores, the cordyceps
right,
down there.
right, and that was
That wasn't even
on
a full infected. That was
that was
just,
episode five,
yeah.
and we're in episodes, so it's like, so you did see that, but I don't like the turning to almost kind of where The Walking Dead is at right now, where it's less about The Walking Dead and it's more about, you know, apocalyptic communities and how they, I, that's okay, but to me, like I would, I still think you need to manage both.
Shows get to that point, especially the apocalyptic shows, because in their mind they can only
Right,
show you so much. Now,
right,
to be fair, I feel like in the second season, you should still be talking about them. Like you haven't fleshed out every story with the infected. So like
no,
if we were like The Walking Dead where they're at now, like I get what you're saying, and people have said that,
right,
and it's almost like that becomes an afterthought. But it's like, well, maybe they've told every story they think they can tell, where, and if that is true, then in the show. But this season, it's the second season. We
right.
can't act like it's not a big deal, especially when you introduce the fact that they are evolving. They are now stalking you. So now, instead of hunting them or just avoiding them, you are actually having to like watch out for them because like they are hunting you now. And we got a new COVID variant in the basement where it's airborne now. You can't introduce those two things and then make it an afterthought. And shows do it all the time. I don't like it, but in this situation, I really don't like it. Like the League, the fantasy football show that was on years ago. I loved it, but like as the seasons went on, it got more about the guys' personal lives, which it
Right.
always was, but like towards the end, it's like you forgot that they were playing fantasy football.
Exactly right. Yeah, like they've discussed it like there's something in the hospital. There's something, like, oh, there's something on one of the levels. They haven't dealt with everybody else's reaction to the spores. Like Ellie letting everybody else know that there's stuff with the spore, like her letting Dina and all and Tommy and all them know about the
The whole
spores.
council, yeah.
Can you hear that? That's my
I
dog.
get the,
Yes, he's
the
trying
Darth
to,
Vader breathing.
yes, he's trying to barrel his way through. Just 1 second. And back. That didn't go so well. I'm just waiting for this one to just push the gate open on the stairs and come down the stairs. Anyways, but yeah, back to like we haven't dealt with the infected and all the variants and all the variations that they're taking on right now and the problems that can come from that, like them setting obviously they haven't talked to Abby and they don't know about the trap that they set in the snow.
Oh yeah.
So it's like there's a lot of people that know a lot of different things about how these variations have evolved, and they're more worried about like human factions and this war. And you're like, eh, we still have a whole bunch of things out there that are like trying to take over. So
The
I,
WLF sealed off an entire building, which I talked about. Like,
right,
if an armed militia was avoiding it, you guys shouldn't have gone in it. But like, they clearly know about it because they were like, "Hey, there's some infected in there that like we are just not gonna deal with, so we're just gonna seal it off." They know. I believe that they know about the stalkers
sure.
because that's why it was sealed off. But
And they didn't go into, yeah, that one building is just off limits.
off
One
limits.
that Ellie and Dina went through,
Yeah,
they had all decided that one is a no-go. We
yeah.
are not doing that one for those kind of reasons. So I really hope they get back to some of that in season 3 and 4. It worries me because with there only being two parts of this game right now, and if they try to extend a story past what they know. Now, the good thing is they do have the creators of the game that help with the show. So they could be like, well, this is where we see it ending. So you need to write towards that ending. However, if they don't do that, I always worry about how things end because again, when you don't know where you're going and how you want the story to end, we have seen countless shows where that is the issue is
Yep.
it's like Stephen King. You cannot tell me that his end goal was a spider for it. Like I think he just
Yep.
he just came to the end and was like, don't know what to do. Are you acting crazy?
Yeah. I was on my meeting, remember?
We are about done. I swear. I swear. I swear. I
No,
swear.
he's fine.
Um,
But no, that honestly, I have a friend who watches the show and he has been texting me each week about like why aren't they killing zombies? Well, they're not really zombies, but I get what you're saying. And I kept being like, well, you just don't understand the level of media. And I just like that was like what I just kept throwing out there. But I was like jokingly saying that because as it went on, I was like, I can't keep
can't defend
pretending
this,
like
right?
I can't defend this. Like the whole show is based around a virus that is taking over the world.
Your opening credits are
Yes,
this fungus. I mean,
exactly.
it's like
Yeah, and it just became a non-issue for most of this season. And I get you're in areas where it's been contained per se,
right.
but like
To just stop talking about it. Yeah.
exactly.
It's a bizarre choice. Like you're just like, okay, now we've just shifted the entire premise of the show onto something completely different. And it I mean, I know that they've done it subtly. It isn't like you're getting complete whiplash from it, but even then I just don't like the subtle shift. Like I still want people to be battling this thing that this all started from. I mean, like you're forgetting that the reason that Joel's killed your father was because of this infection out there. What are we doing?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, after all that and said and done, we are season 2 finale. What would you give the grade for this episode and then the grade for the season overall?
Mm. My grade for
The episode.
the episode.
I'll go ahead and give mine. I think it's a
Yeah,
C.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think it's a C bordering on C. I hate to say even say it, but like somewhere between like C and C minus. And I hate to do that because I think overall it still is a very well written show, very well acted. Um, I just think they're losing, and we didn't even really talk about like I think they said viewership was down 50%.
Yes, from
And
season
that
one.
yeah, and that like a third dropped off after like episode 2 or
Hmm.
something to that. Yeah, some crazy amount. So yeah, I would say they really have to do something. And the thing is, unfortunately, I don't think they're back for another 2 years again.
Agreed.
It's
It's the new thing of 2 years in between while they film and
And that's like on one hand, I get it because like every episode is almost movie quality when you get to HBO.
It's true.
There's no denying that. I mean, that's
Give us 10 episodes then. I think the first season was 10. I think this one was 7.
yes.
Like, if you
Right.
want to take the 10 years, fine. I don't love it, but like you said, it's movie quality. Give me 10.
Yeah.
Give me 10
At
episodes.
least.
At least.
At least give
Yeah.
me 10.
I prefer 12, but you gotta give me double digits.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
for two
Completely.
years?
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
would agree. I was trying to decide. I was like weighing everything. I say C minus is also where I'm at. For all the reasons that you said. And then I think my extra thing is it's a finale. And I realize they're wanting, oh, we got another season coming. But I think when you have a finale, there is an expectation that there's like either a huge cliffhanger or there's like a huge action sequence or something like that. And for it to be a finale and us not get that, along with everything else that we've agreed
Right.
on and discussed, C borderline C minus for me. And like you said, still well written,
Yeah. I'll
good
watch season
acting.
3. Right. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not going to just yeah. I'm not going to just not watch the show again, but yeah, I think that's and I think then that kind of leaves me with like it's somewhere between like a B minus for the season
yeah.
comparatively. Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I know some people gave it a C. I think we've graded it mostly B's across the board,
Right.
maybe an A here or there, but I think B minus for the season
Yeah.
as a whole. I think it isn't great when your by far best episode is the second episode, and then there is a drastic
Right.
drop off after the fact. I think the second episode it gave you everything that we wanted. It gave you the drama with obviously Joel's death.
Sure.
You have the attack on the community that was just so well shot and
Right.
everything with that. I thought that was phenomenal. Then you get the episode after that, which I think I wanted like immediate aftermath, but it was like 3 months later, which I can see why they did
Right.
it, but it was still good. But you peaking in the second episode and to me not even coming close for the rest of the season wasn't great. I will say the episode when they first get to Seattle, or where they get to Seattle and they're in the train station and the horde is coming after them. I thought that was a really good episode. Um, Now I still have my issues with like you just escaped death and
Right.
Dina's like, I'm pregnant. Oh, let's do it real quick. Like that kind of I was like, okay.
Right.
Wash your hands first, but okay. But
Right.
I thought that was all, but like that was probably the second best episode for me. But like outside of those two, there wasn't a lot of action or story building, I guess. And I realize I said a few episodes ago, I just didn't like the Ellie Dina dynamic as much as I liked the Ellie Joel dynamic. And
Right.
again, I feel like I have to say it every time, this is nothing against them as a couple. It is literally just the way that it is portrayed and shot. I appreciated Ellie and Joel in season one a lot more. And I think they played the situation a lot better. And one of my big criticisms this season was feeling like they forgot that they were in the middle of a war zone too many times, just hanging
Too
out,
many times.
joking about this and that. It's like you're supposed to be out for blood right now, and you guys are joking about this. You're in a city you've never been to, and you guys are out just carefree, wandering around. You find out pretty quickly that you're in the middle of a war that you were not
Yep.
prepared
Her
for,
four. Right.
a turf war, but then the very next scene, you guys are just chilling and all of that. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like if I was in that situation, I wouldn't be talking above a whisper like the entire time. I could have checked this entire building and I know nobody is else in here and nobody else is in this building. I'm still whispering the whole time. I'm still sneaking around. I felt like
Yes.
they forgot where they were.
Yes. That you've all, especially now that you know that they're evolving.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Now that you know stalkers exist, oh, trust and believe. my voice is not going over a 2 at any given moment because I'm going to be terrified that they are just lurking behind the trash can waiting for me to turn my back.
And again, I hate to harp on this, but then like Dina still doesn't know that this crap is airborne. Like Ellie has not decided to share this with anybody, and she's pregnant.
Yeah, well,
Like,
when she teleported out of the hospital basement because, she
right.
chased Nora down there, the guards saw her. They sealed the basement, so they obviously assume that both of them are dead now, which sucks, but okay. But the guards knew it was airborne. When they saw there was an opening, they sealed it. How did you get out of the basement? And how did you get out of the hospital? Because even though they chased you down there and then sealed it, you would think that, okay, well, clearly there was an intruder. There may have been more. Oh, we had 6 guards here. Well, now we have 12. Like, there was no way that Ellie should have gotten out of that basement. And they just, like, poof, I'm back at the theater.
And how you don't know if that stuff is on your clothing or
Yeah,
in your
very
lungs either,
nonchalant and
and
cavalier
just you
about
go
the love of
back.
your life being in close contact. And then when she gets back, of course, Jesse saved your life twice in the last, hour. You start banging on the door, and Jesse's following protocol. Who is it? It's me. Okay, what's the name of your horse? Because it
Right,
wants make sure it's me. Open the effing door. It's like, okay, once again, you're wanting to break protocol because you want to. He
right.
opens the door, doesn't say thank you, brushes right past him. Where's Dina? I would have been like, first of all,
Where have
you're
you been?
welcome twice. Where have you been? Like, I found
Yeah.
myself getting more and
No,
more annoyed with her. Like,
a
he
hundred
saved your
percent.
life. You don't care. Tommy and them came to save you. You don't care.
Right.
You don't
You
want to go
even
help
say
him.
F the
Yeah.
community
At the
again.
community,
Right.
I know at one point you did say thank you. I really do mean it. Like, that doesn't mean a thing to me because
No,
your words and actions are
two different.
going to two
Right.
opposite directions.
Exactly right. Yeah. So yeah, I think yeah, it was it was a season.
Yes.
It's you hopefully maybe it's just like the sophomore slump that maybe like make game you look back Game of Thrones and you're like maybe episode season two wasn't the best and House of Dragon maybe season two isn't everybody always kind of suffers at sophomore like I said at
Yeah.
sophomore slump so maybe hopefully season three
They'll
rebounds
go back to the drawing board, find out what people liked and didn't like from the first and second
hopefully
season, hopefully. The problem is they're going off of a game
that's not
sequel
finished
that is very much criticized, which is honestly the first two seasons of the show are lining up exactly how the game went.
right
Season one, give it all the awards.
right
Everybody loves it. Everybody's excited for season two. Season two comes out. It's okay, and then it falls on its face, and everybody has hated it for the last 10 years or however long it's been out. That is literally how the first two seasons of the show are going.
yeah so it's like you hope that like either they right the wrongs from the game going into season three, or they have just a completely different way to explain maybe some of the things that people didn't understand in part two. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's we'll be back for another two. I mean, in 2 years to decide that. So if you're
That just
watching,
hurts
let
to
us
say. Like, just
right,
hearing it out loud, it's like, man.
right. Let us know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed season two, if you think we're way off, I don't think we are. I think we're pretty much in line with what everybody's kind of saying right now.
We're not giving up on it, but we are agreeing with what people are saying about
Right,
it.
right. There is a consensus, and we just, it's kind of like instead of F the community, we're kind of like we understand the community right now.
Yes.
We kind of see where everybody's coming from, but this is legitimate. These are legitimate concerns we have about it. So I think we haven't really discussed. I mean, we'll discuss this through text later. What show we're going to cover next? Possibly Ironheart. I mean, it's not looking great as far as them dumping it, but we'll give it a watch because it's Marvel and that's what we do. And
I'm
whether it's
unhappy about the rollout for this. I have so many thoughts about it.
yeah, good, bad, we're gonna watch it because we watch everything that's Star Wars and
Yes.
kind of sci-fi and House of Dragon-ish kind of related. We are always going to watch. Maybe we'll do Alien Earth. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I mean, haven't we could do that one too. But yeah. But we hope that you liked the Last of Us season breakdown. Yeah, so here's to
Yeah.
the next show.
Yeah, not sure what it's gonna be. I was thinking about that actually earlier today. I was like, I know Ironheart is either end or mid-June. I was like, I
It's
don't.
June 24th.
Okay, so we're pretty close to the end, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So, all right. Until then, we will see you for the next show, and you can
Yes.
catch us on all our socials. Poliel here, and we'll eventually one day we'll put his name
I
down there.
did, so you have to do it every time, or is there a way to permanently change it?
I think they're just like when you go, you can, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
He'll figure it out by the next time we do it. And then you can follow us here at Entertainment Pod, and we're here on those on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok too, where he cuts clips and kind of gets the pot stirring.
Yes.
So until then, bye.